there.
He's the one who did the testing for the last one. He like, oh yeah, that looks good.
Right, I'm like, that's good.
And we all three looked at it like,
that's right.
This gonna do.
It's gonna do. They can do what it do.
Yeah, but that's how your podcast don't blow up. Look at the machines.
Like, damn, this portfolio here.
Yeah.
They made this. What they made this in the backyard?
Can you get that dozen popsicle, please?
I mean, you're like, well, I wonder what I gotta do. Now you gotta figure out how to get
Right, the
quality
whole
right.
thing. Cause you can't
But you
switch.
could have got it right from the
All right.
start. Now learn what you do.
No, you're right. You're right.
Hey, can you turn the mic down? There's like a button to press down.
All right, guys. No, sit down. Be quiet.
Go up. Now talk.
Hey, can you hear us? How are you?
Okay.
She the one that needs
That's
to be
good,
talking because she the one that talks to Lois.
Oh,
And she'll sit back and talk like this right here.
Yeah, so as long as it's right there.
Haters gonna
Look. Look, you see what she gave him? Like,
Okay,
how dare you?
Kita.
Till they leave.
Kita. Take it down two.
Two.
Yeah, two. Because Brandon has a very loud voice. I don't want it to be too
And he
loud.
leaves.
Not in a bad way. But you leave when you talk. Literally. No, literally. Wait, oh yeah, make sure that one's straight now. Here, actually, we're going to turn it and fold it the other way.
I just heard that.
Facing towards you guys.
We can't push it closer to her and then
No, we can, but
everybody
I'm going
else
to
is
make it
loud.
like this. That way when it starts to rock, it won't actually lean because it'll be offset.
Oh, look at you. It's smart.
I told you, that boy good. He real good. That boy good.
That boy good.
He knows a lot.
He do. He really do. I be learning some stuff. I don't want to be teaching him stuff. He teach me stuff. Shoot.
Oh, is that
You
your
gonna
final
talk to
answer?
him here?
Yes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A,
Okay, Brandon, you start talking.
We need to be recording this part right here because this is hilarious right here. Like this is different.
I'm recording it on everything, but
Like
the mic itself is
Oh
not.
yeah, I need all this footage. I need the pre-work. I need all this right
Okay,
here.
cool. All
Now, what's the
right.
difference between
So-
the two?
We're going to be recording in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up. We have with us tonight the Pattersons, Daz and Teresa. We're sorry, I'm tripping.
Okay, and, all
We
right.
should work on that.
And also-
The pull-up podcast.
Oh yeah, man, I'm tripping. You start off cute. You start all this time because like I'm tripping.
Wait, I gotta get my
Yeah.
You could have did it,
If we started off laughing, hit play while we laughing and stuff. That might be a good little
Oh
intro.
yeah, you never lie. But that's all bad. Don't you laugh too hard, TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Experience Podcast Edition. Tonight, we got a special treat for you guys. We are sitting here with the Pattersons, Desmond and Teresa, and they are going to give us all the game on being entrepreneurs, family, nonprofits, for-profits, you name it, they've done it. So sit tight, pull up your popcorn, because we finna get into it.
I like how you said our name right. The Pattersons. I know she appreciates it. You see the chain.
That's what's up. So I know them outside of just being the Pattersons. You know, I know them. We create great content. You guys have seen some of the work we've done. That shout out to them too, the creative team also. And I work with them also on so many other projects from the nonprofit space, and then also in my own personal space with the peer consultant also. So you guys are in for a real treat to learn how to work from home, and then secondly how to work side by side with your spouse also, because that's what you guys do, right? And you guys are full-time parents also, all while having your own business. So this is a great one right here, guys. And also Patterson's here too, guys.
That's
The
right,
star of the show. So we get right into it, guys. So tell us about how did you guys get started?
So, we met in college, like right when we started Action as a student organization. I was going through a really tough time in my life, just where I was kind of like, I was just in the world, just living just for everything that I wanted. It was all about the shoes, the clothes, the cars, you know, the females, and
We all been there, by the way.
yeah, no, right. And it's just, I ended up in a tough situation where I just realized that I was like hurting the people that I loved, and like unlike anything else in my life at this time, it's made me miserable. Like I'm literally like boohoo crying for like days, probably weeks at the time, like, and just didn't really like know how to move forward. So naturally, what we all do, whether we believe or don't believe, at the time I had stepped away from the faith. I grew up in the church, but I stepped away from the faith, and I'm just like, God, like, Jesus, like, I don't know who to pray to, but if you real, like, help me, like, show me what's up. And so I went to church the next day, and a young lady named Zainab Kennedy was running for student senate president, and she told the church about it. And being a student athlete, I was pretty popular on campus. I was like, I don't know what I can do, but I'm willing to help. I put it on my offering paper, and I just slid it over to her. After church, she invited me to the Senate meeting. I gave them some ideas that I had for the campus, and they were like, you need to be on Senate with us. So I was like, all right, cool. So I ran for Senate. Platform is called Time for Action, and we didn't win. And so from there, I got appointed a position on the other platform, and my position was Vice Commissioner of University Life. And so it was my job to figure out how to do a lot of the things that we had already wanted to do in our platform. So I started a student organization called Action. In between all of that, Teresa and I met, and it was like you doing this with me, like, let's go, like, and we became like great friends. But we also started this journey of taking action, striving to focus on, how we can not only be like interculturally inclusive and show love to everybody on campus, but also so that we can focus on doing what we love, so that when we left campus, it was something like we left not to just get a job and hope that somebody hired us, but we left to do something that will pay us, but also allow us to do what we love.
Right.
So that's where like the journey really started, and then that just kicked off a whole like 7-year process for real to get to where we are today. You probably have your version of that too.
So by the way, I've heard this story before, guys, and they both had two different versions. So I want to hear.
So what really happened there?
I want to hear both versions.
So that's what happened. Like in the beginning of Action, we met actually during the space tournament, and I beat Daz.
Oh, Bailey left that part out.
Look, that ain't got nothing to do with it.
I dropped it in there. She dropped it in there though.
They ain't cheated anyway. But go ahead.
We really didn't cheat. But so we met playing the space tournament, and then we went on a date to Buffalo Wild Wings. And then I think like shortly after that, Daz had asked me to help him like edit one of his emails. He was sending to like the president or somebody. He was sending somebody a email. He asked me to edit it. So that's how I really started helping Daz with Action. He asked me to like take on the official like e-board, like executive board role in the organization, but I didn't really want to do that because I was already involved in a lot of different things on campus and stuff. So I just said I would help Daz, but then we got to the meeting. Daz gonna announce to everybody like, and everybody meet our new secretary, Teresa.
That's how you do it.
So is that really how you did it?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. That's the story she remembered. I don't believe it. She was thirsty to tell it, so I'm gonna let her enjoy it. She's so thirsty to tell it.
That's the truth. You really did do that.
7 years, I know. It gets foggy after a while.
I only tell the truth.
Okay.
But so, yeah.
That's all she wanted to say. You see?
But that's okay though, because that's the perfect part. Because Space is all about strategy, and that helps a lot with going through life, going through trials, tribulations, like you said, even going through business, especially. So, what have been some things that you all like? Because 7 years is a long time, right? Obviously, you guys got married, got these beautiful baby. What has been some things that you guys have been through, in this 7-year story that has gotten you to who you are today? Because we all see obviously the Pattersons, but how did we get here? Because we need to know. I need some help. So please tell us, how did we get here?
Go ahead.
You sure?
Go ahead.
You sure?
All right. So, well, I mean, I think different things touch people different ways. So I can say I want to say the big things, but then there's also some things that other people might deal with that, that are big to them. So I'm just gonna kind of give a rundown of some of the things that we've experienced. Like we left college, we ended up moving right in with each other. I like to say I went from the locker room straight into the house with this gentle soul, and so now it's like I got to figure out how to switch my whole energy. That was a huge thing that we did because she was from Cleveland, Ohio. She went to school. Dazzling. Okay, be quiet. We'll get it. Okay. Sorry, y'all. So, we went to school in Athens, Ohio, and so we left and we moved directly to Orlando, Florida. I'm from Tampa, Florida, so I'm not far from there. My family wasn't far from. We actually worked in my hometown, but she was like miserable. So that was a whole story. We found out we were pregnant with our son while there. She wanted to move back to be closer to her family. The entire time now we're running our organization. We're serving like the kids at my past middle school, Dazzling. No, be quiet. We're serving the kid. So let me just kiss y'all.
No.
So in that time, we're serving the kids that went to my middle school, even kids in the community. I'm running a pressure washing company, and we were working at the skill center, pressure washing company, and I was doing like Primerica and substitute teaching. So
wow, y'all were busy.
Yeah. So we would wake up early in the morning. I would go sub, leave there, work with the kids on the days that I didn't have. These were on the days that I didn't have to like do any pressure washing jobs.
Yeah.
And then after school program was always Monday through Thursday. I would leave there. I would have kitchen tables, like meetings that I would have set up with people to go meet with them. And that just kind of, that's how my days went. And if I didn't have any meetings with them, I would be marketing the pressure washing services. So it was just all the time. It was just like nonstop. We worked about 45 minutes from where we lived. Side note, we lived like 5 minutes from Disney. So every night we saw the lights at Disney, the fireworks when they went out. It was like, it was so dope, wasn't it? Yeah, until you realize you're paying so much money to stay right down the street and you really don't care. Like, it was dope for like the first week.
I'm about to say, on my second
Yeah, and then we weren't home a lot, so we were paying $1,400 a month to rent what was supposed to be luxury. Wasn't all that luxurious after a while, and then we would be late on paying rent, so now we gotta pay $1,500. And it was just like, why are we here? So it ended up being that ended up being a huge part of our process. Something tough. You want to add? You want to say something?
Yeah. So when we did move down there, I started working at Disney, which is why we lived like across from Disney. But I ended up not staying there because of the hours they wanted me to come at like 5 a.m. or something like that, and I didn't have my car down there, so it wasn't working out. So that's why I ended up working at the skill center in Tampa, which was an hour away from Kissimmee, which is where we live. So we did make that road trip every day, girl.
Ooh, that was y'all commute hour, like 45 to an hour there and back home?
God bless y'all.
So how did y'all transition? Because it seems like y'all been like go-getters since school's ended. You know, y'all didn't take that time in between to like, oh, let's find ourselves. It was straight, this is our mission, this is where we're going, let's make a difference. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that's, in school is where we really discovered our missions. Well, I can speak for myself. We didn't really start dating until right before I was about to graduate. We were friends for 2 years before we started dating. So during this process, I had my whole journey going on, and she had hers. So once action started, of course I was doing singing, I was playing football, but I also started a company called the All-American Cleanup Crew. So we got contracts with, she's actually a great friend of mine, somebody that was doing, she's a wedding planner. We would break down, build up their weddings. We would do lawn care. We would do cleaning. We would plant a garden sometimes. And I just did that with me and like a few of my friends from the football team. And we just like every summer or every weekend, we just had jobs that we were taking on. So I ran that company, and then I also was I was like a business manager at a English and French bulldog breeding company. So it was my job to make sure that
You ain't playing, bro. the resume is key. You know what I'm saying? All right.
And it wasn't like it was things that I was doing every single day.
Yeah.
It was like we made sure we got jobs. It wasn't really hard for some football players in a college town to get jobs if you needed some.
Right.
So we got the jobs, did those jobs, and then as far as the bulldog breeding company, I would just have to report to them every 2 weeks, go in, check up, see how everything is going in terms of the operations of, how they're taking care of their dogs and their employees, and just set up a plan for them to work. So it was just like another piece of homework that I got paid pretty good for. So that's just how it ended up working out. It wasn't like I was super busy doing a lot.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're able to pull from each of those jobs and incorporate into, to overall, what you want to do in the future.
Absolutely.
Shit like this,
Come on.
yeah. Pass the baby.
No.
But so I do want to get into how you guys transition from being basically not saying employees, but how y'all go from work to your own into action per se. Was the moment like this is what we need to be focused on, this is what we need to be working on going forward?
You gotta say something, Teresa.
I don't know. We were always working on action. It was just like the amount of time that we actually invested into it, because Daz worked like multiple jobs. Once I stopped working at the skill center, I didn't get another job. So Daz worked at what's it called? With the phones.
CLE Solutions.
You worked there, and then you worked with Mr. Durham, and then after that we started really like only focusing on action.
Yeah, and so the entire time we were, like she said, we were always working on it.
Right.
It was always something that we were building up to run our organization. We're still working on it. It's still not where we really want it to be right now. We haven't, as you know, we haven't launched a lot of the things that we have in the works. As far as action is concerned, we like to say like we're building an ark. Like how Noah was, like Noah was building an ark, and everybody's like, it's not raining. It never rained before. It never rained before. And it's like, it's cool, like, it's gonna rain. We're building this ark right now, and when this ark is ready to be built, like when it's done and it's ready to go, like y'all gonna see it, and it's gonna, but not everybody will understand when you're doing it. So we do have some offerings in it that we developed through what we've done in the past. So
let that be a note to everyone listening. Like, you can still work a job and still be working on your business at the same time. There's no either or. You can do both. So,
and even the job that you take on, in my opinion, should be like mission driven. It should be helping. So we have this blueprint called the Legacy Blueprint. So you can build your legacy in alignment with the good King, God, Jesus Christ, is good King. And it starts with building a firm foundation. Like you say, build your legacy like you're building a 2-story house that will withstand any storm. It starts with building a rock solid foundation of strong character, rooted in Christ, for us as believers. Then you move up and you start getting into the mindset. What do you believe life needs to look like for the people you have most compassion for? What do you believe you can do? Do to help life look that way for them. That's where you discover your personal mission in life. And now once you have your personal mission, you should say, okay, what skills can I build that can help me to serve my people? And now that tells you the opportunities you should take on, and you'll be able to accomplish your goals and dreams from there. A lot of times what happens is people say, what do I want out of life? Well, I want a bunch of money. I want to live like this, and I want to live like that. And you start with the roof. You start with your goals and dreams. And then you allow that to determine the opportunities you're going to take on. And then you build skills based on those opportunities. And then next thing you know, like your mission and even your character is like, shaky. It's behind all of that. But you're not. It's because you're not building based on a mission. Like we know what jobs to take on because we know whether they align with our mission or not, whether they're going to help us to build skills we need. We know whether we need to be working out or not because we know how it affects our mission. We know how everything that we do affects our mission.
I'm laughing
preaching
like,
a little bit.
I'm like, because like once again, Dad's like, are you saying on the mission, bro? And I'm like, I'm worried about the money, you know what I'm saying? But no, you need that.
Bro.
Because at the end of the day, the money's gonna only get you so far, the mission gonna get you even further. It's gonna push you in the moment when the money ain't there. You know what I'm saying? And Dad's taught me that, you know. I'm like, the money's there, like is the mission there?
Especially being a kingdom citizen, man. Like you're like, oh, like Jesus Christ. Like you put it on your page, you speak about him, you represent him, so you have to represent him. The word clearly tells us you can't serve God and money.
Absolutely.
So like pick one. Yes, he wants you to live an abundant life, but trust him. Like you can't serve him and money. Like he said, everything you do, commit your actions to him. Like so, we like in that spirit, we're like, okay, make sure you understand your kingdom mission so that you can build up. And when she said we were focusing on that all the time, like we were focusing on action the whole time. Like action is an opportunity. That's a major part of our mission. So it's like we can always be working on it, regardless of what jobs we take on, even in our own household.
I love how you guys unapologetically live in your gifts, you know, and you kind of operate with the fruits of the spirit and all that. So one great thing you just touched on was understanding your mission and moving through your mission or moving through your purpose and understanding that you are, you know, living through it as like a living testament to, you know, God's love for the world and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you guys like find your mission, or what are some tips you could give somebody who may not know or may not understand how powerful they are, or how powerful belief and being, like I said, being unapologetic about it. Like you don't have to be shy about being a member of the kingdom and moving and operating in that sense, because once you do, it'll come, like you just said, you begin to flourish, or you begin to be fruitful when you start watering the right gifts or the right fruits, right? Mm-hmm. So for anybody who's listening, especially our younger viewers, what would be some tips you would give for anybody thinking about it? I know, Dad, I'm telling you, want to know too.
She is just trying to do everything. I'm like, I grabbed her arm. I'm like,
no. We got to.
Brandon, like, dang, what you just do to her? I'm like, like, just stop.
Okay. You can do it too. So what do you say? What we should do? What we gotta learn how to do? You took my whole
No, but I like how you said that, because like the one thing Daz and Teresa, they're not, you know what I'm saying? They let it be known, and I think that it's something to be said about that. Like, no, one thing that's always telling me about, know your audience, right? Mm-hmm. And who are you serving? That's that, man. I should wear a T-shirt of Daz sayings around, you know what I'm saying? But you always ask, like, who are you serving? And I think one thing that they stay true to, they know who they serve. You know, and that should be a testament to anybody who wants to, you know, how your business, like who your business serving, who's your audience, and who are you serving in that or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, like, how did you guys know who you guys serve when you guys started action? Like, how did you guys determine, like, this is my audience? And I know, and then on top of that, Teresa, you have a different brand than Daz does, and you serve a different audience than Daz does. So with that being said, how did you determine, you know, who your audience was?
So, thinking about who we had the most compassion for, that's the first like question. Who do you have the most compassion for in life? And like
compassion.
Like you feel their challenges, like you feel their desires, you can relate with them, and you want to help them to solve the problems that they have. Yeah. So for me, it's always been kids. So I had the most compassion for the kids growing up, like just learning different things, learning how to think, learning how to be, and just wanting them to learn like the right ways without having to learn all the wrong ways and then turn around when they get older, they gotta unlearn and relearn. So that's really who I had the most compassion for. So that's why I serve mothers of the next generation, because we spend the most time with our children. We have the most influence in their lives for like and like parents for mothers and fathers, but I serve mothers of the next generation. So that's the first place to start for identifying who you have that compassion for, and just remembering that you're going to create some type of solution that will help them to live the way that you believe they should live. Like, what do you believe life should look like for them when their problems are solved?
So tell us more about your individual brand, because it is nice that you all are both home-based businesses, both full-time parents, but you do have individual brands. So tell us more about your brand.
So my brand is built with Teresa. It's really just it's my personal brand. It's not like an actual business. I just share messages that are relevant to the women that I serve, and I just talk about like the things that I've learned, like the fears that I've overcome, the challenges that I've gone through that like the women that I serve can relate with. I talk a lot about like my experiences with Daz, and I talk about losing my son. I talk about like our marriage and the things that I've learned from Daz. Like it's really just me sharing the things that I've learned to encourage women that I'm connected to.
Now, how do you realistically find time to create content? Because you're very consistent when it comes to your posting cycles on your social media pages, reaching out. Like if somebody was to DM you or message you, you have no problem like reaching right back out as if, like I said, we always say, this is my cousin. When first time I met her, it was like meeting family, like out of town family, at a family reunion. Because it's just that type of energy all the time. It's never inconsistent with her. So how do you find a way to balance that, being a wife, being a mom? Because for women especially, a lot of us get lost. Because you could easily be Mrs. Patterson and always be known as Desmond's wife or as Desmond's mother and forget your identity as Teresa. And I think you do a very great job of staying consistent, of knowing who you are and whose you are, and being able to showcase that in addition to just being a mom or just being a wife. So how did you navigate that space? Because that is a tough space for a lot of new moms that are coming up.
So it's definitely been a process. Like Daz was saying, when we lived in Florida, like I was miserable because I didn't really like know what I was doing with my life for real. Like my job was stressing me out and our relationship was stressing me out. So it was difficult for me to just be me. I didn't really have no friends and I was trying to get really used to being around Desmond's family too, bro. So going from there to then we moved up here. I was pregnant with Dalen and he was born. I wanted to get a job, but I didn't. I applied for one job that I got, but I also didn't want to, like, it was a decision of either sending him to daycare or staying at home with him. And the only reason why I was sending him to daycare is so that I could get a job to earn some money. And it was like, well, no, I shouldn't really just be doing that. I should stay at home and try to figure out what I should do from here because we're really good. Like, we didn't need to make additional money because Dad was working. So just like learning myself, I spent a lot of time just in the house trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like planning. Like I was going through, like I watched like so many different YouTube videos. I downloaded all of the free workbooks and ebooks and stuff like that. I'm just like, I gotta do something. Like I know I want to do something. So I took this real estate class. I actually got my real estate license like in 2019, I think 2019. But so I've just been like trying different things to try to find my thing for real. And I think now it's just like accepting who I am becoming, not still trying to hold on to who I was. Like I think that had been the hardest thing for me. I was still trying to be the Teresa, the college student Teresa, and then really like it wasn't really meshing well with that because I was no longer college student Teresa. Now I'm college graduate Teresa. That's not me anymore. So just being who I am today and fully accepting like the roles that I play for my husband and my daughter and my friends, my family and stuff like that. Just fully accepting those roles and not really trying to hold on to who I was. That has been one of the biggest things.
How you manage it?
What was asked was how did she manage it? So how did you manage that? Or how do, because you obviously flawlessly do. So how?
It's like every day I just like it's a day by day thing. It's like keeping my priorities prioritized, if that makes sense. Like not allowing one thing to like take me completely off track from the other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
give yourself some
well,
grace.
it's not necessarily like perfect in how I do it. I don't know if I'm answering this question correctly.
No.
There's no wrong answer. It's an open conversation. We just giving people insight.
I think just like managing my schedule. So I use my action planner. That's really what helps me for real to like. I mark out like everything I need to do for every day, and then I just have to check it off.
Okay.
And that keeps me like more focused, so I'm not like just trying to do every single thing, but I know that I have to do a couple of different things, and I reflect at the end of the day, do my grow and my glow. So I know one thing that my grow is one thing I need to improve on. My glow is one thing I did really well on.
Oh, that's awesome. So you give yourself that moment of honesty to really. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that definitely helps because I know I be in my head a lot, just thinking about a lot of different things. Like, oh, I gotta get Dazzling some more diapers. Gotta order her some more shoes. Like little stuff like that. That is like gotta find the right time to do it. But if I don't write it down, then it'll just I'm thinking about it the whole day. Like,
Right.
so little stuff like that.
I like that a lot.
So I want you guys might think of Teresa as being, you know, meek and humble and whatnot, but I know her as AKA no games. And the reason she's no games because don't let it fool you. When she means business, she means business. You know, one of the great things I know Daz and Teresa outside of all this, y'all. I get a chance to see them on the regular, and like I can attest to the fact of when it comes down to taking care of business, that's what they do. And one of the things that we were doing, how long we do that? Every night we would practice our pitches, our speeches and whatnot, and all these things were coming straight out of Action 101. So I want you guys to speak upon Action 101 and how it will help you guys, but how can it help entrepreneurs as a whole?
So it's designed to help you to discover your mission and make fulfilling it a simple routine rather than a frustrating mess. So that's really like overall what it'll help you to do. And it's broken down into 3 different phases. Phase 1 is gaining clarity, phase 2 is building systems, and phase 3 is achieving results. So it helps you to map out your legacy and how you're going to take on different opportunities effectively. And then phase 2 is like what I was talking about with the action planner. It's just managing your time, your money, and your energy. So you just have to actually take the time to actually sit down and write it out so it's not all in your head. And then achieving results is just about building your personal brand, sharing valuable messages with the people that you serve.
Now, I am still on course 1, guys, so let me get that clear. And Daz gets on me all the time about that.
Your action plan.
Listen, no, but I can attest to how much action has helped me because once again, it's helped. If you guys have noticed my journey, I've gone from doing this to before, and I'm pretty sure No Games can attest to this also about how I would not want to speak at all. I wouldn't even be here, guys, if it wasn't for Action 101. So shout out to Action 101. I'm endorsing that right here.
Yeah, thank you. We needed this version.
Thank you, exactly. Thank you. So my next question to you guys, I know you spoke on it earlier, but I want to get back to how some of you guys went through kind of shaped you guys' journey and whatnot. I know you guys talked about dating or whatnot, but I don't think we got a chance to dive into that or whatnot and what happened during that time.
Yeah.
I can get that. She ain't trying to go
Like she can't sit back here and talk either.
And I do want to point out, like, you know, because I know for most people, when tragedy strikes, you know what I'm saying, or something happens major in their life, they kind of like shut down and give up, you know what I'm saying? But you guys, I'll let you say your story.
Yeah. So, long story short, we got married in February of 2018, and our son was 3 months old at the time when we got married. So we ended up like we were like, all right, we got married because we're gonna do life God's way. Like we had already said we were like married, but we don't need the government and we don't need all of that. And while there might be some truth to that, I'm not one to figure out like whether God.
You love your government.
Right?
Speak for yourself. Shout out to Biden.
What are you talking
I
about?
want to get raid in the middle of the podcast, you know.
Ain't nobody scared about it.
No.
Hey, but no, so yeah, so we want to do God's way, and we can be a great representation of, godliness by being like legally married. What are we avoiding? Why not? Before we didn't want to get married because we wanted a big, nice, fancy wedding, and that's just something that we couldn't afford at the time. And why go into debt and now create a whole nother challenge for ourselves when we already know from being together at the time for 4 years, 3 or 4 years, that it's a challenge already. Like, we already have enough challenges. Why create a situation where we get into debt, and make that a whole nother challenge? Right. I think at the time we had we had like $12,000 worth of debt from Teresa's student loans and credit cards. And so it was just like, so it might have been like 14, 2 from the credit cards and 12 from there. But anyway, 3 months later, I was working in construction. I was working 6 days a week, like long days, and Teresa was in real estate school, so she would go to her classes on the weekends. I would watch Dalen once I got done working on Saturdays, Sundays, and on this particular Saturday, I got off work, had Dalen with me. We went to the house. This was the day before Mother's Day. We ended up taking a nap. I put him to bed. I went to bed beside him. And when I woke up, Teresa was coming in the house and that's what made me wake up when she came in the house. When I woke up, he was caught between like a pillow in the side of the bed and the wall, and he wasn't breathing. And so I woke up quite naturally. She snatched him up. We trying to like get him to breathe. He's purple. He's cold. And it's just like we went to the hospital. Ended up they pronounced him dead at the hospital. And that just ended up like being a situation. It was really like a.
Because I'm a co-sleeper, or was, when my babies were babies. Yeah. But yeah, you hear about it, but you never think it actually could.
Right.
It's that serious and people try to make it. But wow. Yeah,
it's very real. And the real thing is you don't want it to end up, like, the possibility isn't worth it. Yeah. Like sometimes we try to figure out whatever we can do in order to be comfortable. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like getting up out of the bed 3 times. Yeah. And it's just like, sometimes we just gotta do what we gotta do, because although the chances of it happening might seem low to you, because it's not something that happens, that you see happen all the time, but you don't want it to be you. Yeah. Like just speaking on SIDS, Yeah. But yeah, so that ended up a situation where we were kind of like not in our relationship. We stuck together, and I appreciate Teresa for that, especially with Dalen. Like, and I don't know if I've ever said that. Like, especially with Dalen dying in the bed with me. Like, she's never like turned on me. It made me feel like she blamed me or anything like that. But so I do appreciate that. I don't know if I ever said that. So I just, and then I'm doing it on camera. But now you're at a crossroads.
Yeah. It's like, how do y'all bounce back from something like that? That's serious.
Well, one of the things that like I didn't have my dad growing up. And so one of the big things for me was like, when I have my child, like my child is gonna be my everything, especially my son. Like, I'm gonna be with him through whatever. Like, he's never gonna go a day without his daddy. I'm gonna make sure he has everything he needs, like everything. And so this is my world. Like, that was one of the statements that I would have made. And especially since at the time our relationship really wasn't as good as we wanted it to be anyway. So now I'm at a crossroads. It's like, what do you do now? Like your world is gone. Like, and so it was like, what is it like? Do you give up or do you keep going? And it's like, well, what does giving up look like? Like, what is giving up? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, I mean, like, it's not an option. Like, you gotta figure out how to keep moving forward. So now it's like, all right, well, I don't know how to do this on my own. And I don't really trust nobody else to talk to, so I got nobody to talk to but the same person that gave me my purpose. Right. Yeah. My purpose was my son during this time period. Like, this was, I think, like, the word tells us all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And
I'm talking about y'all, because like, you say every time, you know what I'm saying? It gets me every single time. And I'll get to my story with me and Daz later on, but like, Write that down, y'all.
Yeah. All things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose.
Amen.
So it's like, I came across that verse one day. For me, I can't speak for her, but I came across that verse one day and it was like, do I believe this?
Yeah.
Like, my son just died. And the Bible is saying all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Do I really believe this? And I really had to, like, if I'm like, okay, well, if I believe this, then I got to believe all of it. Like the whole Bible.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm the type of person, I'm going to go all in or I'm not going at all.
Right.
Like, that's just me.
Right.
And so it's like, dang, I got to believe all of it. So just reading that and then reading the rest of the Bible, it's just like, dang, like, and then realizing my circumstances, like, I can't trust in myself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it by myself.
Right.
Like, I guess I ain't got no choice but to say, all right, you said happen for my good. Now let me figure out how it's happening for my good. Like, okay, God, since you say this happened for my good, how?
Yeah.
Show me how. And a couple months later, one of my friends lost his son.
You was able to be there.
And I was able to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just certain things just started happening, and I started realizing like that I put so much of my worth in having my son.
Yeah.
Not only that, but when my son passed away, we moved in with Teresa's father. And for a couple of weeks it was cool, but after a while, you know, you got two men living in his house, you got issues, you know. And,
Now you guys were up here in Cleveland by that time.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
her dad lives right next door to us right now. Yeah, so we live in there, and it's just like, she in one ear like, can we just move? Like, like he in another ear like, why you going to work so much? Like, why you always working? You ain't here with your wife. She needs you. Y'all just lost your son. I leave my job to be home with her because she asked me the same thing. Can I come home with her? And now he like, why you ain't working? And he's like,
Enough to drive anybody a little bit crazy.
but then like it's bad, and then like so now I'm not working. So just lost my son.
Yeah.
Not working. Living with my father-in-law. After a few weeks, probably like a few months, my truck break down.
Oh man.
So it's just like, dang, like,
No, baby.
am I a man?
Yeah.
Yeah, because y'all do pride yourself on providers.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's real.
everything now, because my manhood and my worth and all of those things came from having my son.
Yeah.
But now it's like, dang, like, am I a man? Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
you know, and so one of the things that God was helping me through in that season was understanding that, you know, my manhood and even my worth doesn't come from what I have, my relationships, or, you know, who's in my life and what's going on, the circumstances. Like, he created me and he gave me my worth when he did that.
Yeah.
And so now, from now on, it's my responsibility to express that in the way that I live. I have to trust solely in him. And sometimes that's radical.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes that's saying, you know, like, sometimes that's saying, like, you know what, like, he talking junk, he doing things that is completely disrespectful to you, but you ain't gonna say nothing back, because God told you in his word, don't repay evil for evil, but repay evil with good, so now you gonna have to show him love.
Yeah.
Like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. I think radical the perfect word to say about that. You know?
like, sometimes people looking at you and they're like, you tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you in your wife's car, you looking at people and they looking at you like, well, you ain't got your own car. Or they might not even be looking at you like that. You just feel like,
Yeah.
for real, like, when friends come over, when we at my father-in-law house, I'm thinking in my head, they're like, hey, like, y'all ain't got your house? Like, ain't y'all married? Like, what you doing? You ain't going to work every day? But
So how do we get from, I mean, I guess you say homelessness to home ownership? Like, cause that's a whole different type of level up. I know you were a realtor, you went through school and everything, but like, how do we do that from selling houses to owning one? Like, cause that's a big thing.
So we left my dad's house after we begging Jasmine for that whole time. Can we leave?
You put us out. For
Yeah.
real.
I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember Dad's like being like, "We can leave today," and I'm like, "We can leave today." I'm like, "Let me pack my stuff, cause you sure?" And we left my dad's house. We didn't have anywhere to go, so that night we slept at Lifetime.
In the car.
Like the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lifetime. We slept in my car at Lifetime, and then we was like, "Well, if we don't sleep in our car, we should sleep in our car in Chicago or something." So we drove to Chicago that night,
Oh,
or
the
the
road
next
trip.
day. And then we went from Chicago to
Detroit.
Detroit. And then Daz was like, "Oh, we should go around the whole country." And so I'm like, "Wait, I gotta get my hair done." So, cause I'm not about to go traveling around here looking crazy. I'm just not gonna do it. So we said we had to come back here to get my hair done. We got here and we stayed in the Airbnb, like 2 Airbnbs or something like that. And then on the last day of us staying in the Airbnb, the guy that owned this house, he hit Jasmine up like, "Yeah, y'all can come get the key if y'all want to move in or something like that." And we was like, "Okay, cool, boom." So we came and got the key. When we moved in here, the floors was nasty. It wasn't no like the electricity wasn't on. The water was on, but we didn't know how to work the water. We thought it was off. But so we moved in. We had moved in like the bed right there. And we just lay right there and we sleep.
Mm-hmm. And remind you, like we were in conversation with him for months about buying a house. Like we talked to him about it. We traveled like around the city to try to catch up with him and just having conversations. And it just seemed like he was just playing us. Like we wasn't gonna get this house. Like, but yeah, like, I was sitting in the car at the time crying. Like when he shot me a text message, 9 o'clock in the morning, like, "Hey, I'm about to come to the house. I'll be there in about 30 minutes. You can come get the key." We can do what?
Yeah, that's
Like we ain't signed no contract.
Yeah.
We ain't like it was nothing. Like we had a few conversations about what it would take to purchase it, like what the agreement would be and all of that, and it was just like, "Yeah, y'all come get the key." And so we ended up standing here for a month and a half, like you said, with no lights and no water, like, and making sure we have shoes on because it was bad, you know. But, and then yeah, so that's how we ended up in that situation. Now, as far as our work goes, like, well, first of all, we paid like $1,000 down and like $625 a month for like 6 years.
For like the house?
Yep.
That's cheaper than the rent. You say you was paying $1,400 in rent?
Yeah.
But we was even paying
No.
$675, I think, when we lived at Southgate. We lived at Southgate when we moved up here. And we was paying $675 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Homeownership matters, y'all. Just put that out there. Homeownership matters. Just those figures. Shameless plug.
Yeah, that's a blessing, bro.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all switched that all the way up. I'm
And
proud.
I just want to speak upon how Daz said how know your audience. So I met Daz during the time where I first hit him up about making our own podcast. And Daz, being the businessman he is, he said, "Come to me with a proper business proposal, and then we'll talk." Right?
I should have said that.
You know, listen, Daz on. He's like, "Hey, come with figures and statistics on it." So I'm like, "All right, okay, all right," and I did and whatnot. We talked about it.
I told him to come with a plan. I said, "Well, give me the plan and we'll figure it
Oh,
out."
see, he gave me the idea, and I was like, "Well, let's get this plan."
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So listen. So then, you know what I'm saying? Like the pandemic happened. And then me and him, you know, we kind of, I can say not fall off, but you know, we weren't
Social
talking.
distancing.
Right, exactly, right. So then I had my own situation in life. During that time, my marriage was not where I wanted it to be, right? And I did. So this, if you don't believe in God, sorry for you, but I actually prayed to God. I said, "God, I cannot talk to my friends about it. I can't talk to my family about this. I need somebody in my life who's going to be able to help me during this time and whatnot." And tell me why, at that time, I don't know, I was on Instagram, and guess who's on there? Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson. And at that time, I can't tell you what the exact speech he spoke upon, but he said something that really resonated with me, and I felt that's what God told me and led me to Daz. And I'll never forget, he was like, he's like, I help you, man, but you know what I'm saying, it's not going to be easy. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I signed up for action that day. And just like he just said, he reminded me of that scripture, Romans 8:28.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and Daz got me through some tough times. It was a rough road of I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to get through it and whatnot. But like he said, the experience that he had with the turmoils he went through helped me during mine. So remember that, guys. Like they said, know your audience. I'm part of Dad's audience, So I can attest to that. So remember that. So
yeah, on that point, hopefully, baby girl, let me get this out. Oh yeah, to that point, like one of the things I introduced to him was Action 101.
yeah,
Teresa kind of like she talked about a few things about Action 101, but the biggest thing is like I serve men. Like that's what my heart really is for. Like our men, we want to build healthy, happy families with plenty of money in our pocket, but not at the expense of like living our purpose. Mm-hmm. Like we really want to feel fulfilled. We really want to feel like the kings we were created to be. Mm-hmm. And shoot, like I want that for you. I want you to have that love and respect that you expect out of life from anybody that you come into contact with, or anybody that you will allow to be in your presence. That said, if you don't have a plan,
yeah,
you don't have a strategy, you don't have, you don't know who you are, what you represent, and how you're going to go out here and change your world, at least change the world for somebody, then it's going to be difficult to have a woman follow your lead. Yeah. It's going to be difficult to have a team, a business, follow your lead. Like you have to have that mission, that vision, and that strategy, and you have to lead your team by showing them, telling them, showing them, and guiding them through the process every single day in order for that to work out. And that's what Action 101 allows you to do. When you take it, you're able to discover your mission. You're able to discover that vision, and you're able to start taking steps every single day to get you there. And like Teresa said, it's not going to be a frustrating mess anymore. It's going to be a simple routine. And so that's what I told Brandon. I'm like, well, sound like you kind of everywhere. So it's kind of difficult for her to not be everywhere at this point. And I can't tell you how things are going to work out with her, but I can tell you this. If you get you together, then your future is going to be much brighter than what it would be if you don't. So let's just focus on Brandon right now. And let's get him together. Let's trust God through this process. Like I said, it's going to be tough, but it's going to work out. Right. This is going to be everything we wanted to be and more. And a year later, we were just celebrating. A year later, things are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So shout out to Action 101. I endorse that message.
So I know a lot of Action does, like you actually guys, like you just said, help people put things into action. A lot of people are starting their businesses. They're looking for resources. They're looking to provide resources. So what are some things that you guys are doing with Action that you definitely want people to know about, that we can help you guys spread the message with? Anything like that?
Right now, it's just Action 101 that we actually put out there. We're actually building a platform that we'll introduce to the world soon. Like I told you, we're building the art, but right now we sell Action 101 as an individual workshop, but and peer consulting, of course, where I'll build a relationship with the man and her with the woman that is interested in having that accountability, support, and encouragement on a weekly basis.
Because
good. So you guys serve as accountability partners as well.
Yes.
Oh, now that.
I was about to say, and of course, anyone who's an entrepreneur, especially if you're like me. So Keita knows this very well. I'm a visionary, right? But sometimes a vision only goes so far because you need someone to help push you to that next point and whatnot. So for everyone who's an entrepreneur or has a vision, not even sometimes, you need someone to hold you accountable in some aspect of your journey in entrepreneurship. So don't be ashamed of that also. I know I was ashamed. I was like, I don't need no accountability. Anybody telling me about this and other.
Well, you shouldn't be ashamed, man. It's difficult. We grow up with everybody saying, do what you like, do what you want.
Right.
But there's no discipline in that. There's no like structure in that.
Right.
Especially when we couldn't wait to get out of our parents' households. When we became adults, the only thing that held us like structure is whether if we went to college, it was class and the fact that we didn't want to get kicked out or lose our scholarship. If it was a job, it was like we got to go to work so we can pay the bills. Like, but other than that, it's like you ain't have to have no structure, and you have consistently built habits for years at this point of not like those habits aren't helping you to then turn around and be an entrepreneur. Or you got to get up on time and you got to do everything you got to do for you. And ain't nobody holding you accountable to that. Like, so I mean, I don't think anybody should feel bad about that. I just think that.
Well, as a man, you know how we get down.
Or even as a person, I love what he said about building skills and habits, because a lot of people have a habit of starting but not seeing it through. And I think you guys have the absolute best story of seeing it through. Underneath like God's will, right? Like it's not just I'm gonna find my own way. It's like no, I'm gonna trust you to lead me through this process. It's a really a Jesus take the wheel type of thing, and y'all fall back and put it on autopilot. And I think what is so awesome about what he said is learning actual the skill of being disciplined. Like he said, working out, how that's a skill building something. That's something that you do. You do what you have to do even when it's not what you want to do. And that's something that a lot of people have to learn, entrepreneurs or not. A lot of the times things fall flat is because we stop being motivated. You know, when you motivated, you got that good idea, you feeling it, and it's like, yeah, I'm about to do this, and that, and that. You might even plan it out. And then 3 weeks later, when it's not going as fast or as successful as you planned in your head or you planned it on paper, it's almost like I gotta fall back and try something new. Let me just try whatever my backup is. So being able to stay in a process, because you know discipline will take you where motivation, it'll keep you going when motivation stops or it flees. You know, and I think that's like an awesome thing that I appreciate you guys for being able to showcase. Because you guys are very transparent with your story. You're very transparent with the way that you just live life and have overcome so much. And a lot of part of being an overcomer is going through, you know what I'm saying? Like just continuing to go. Like even if you don't see the light yet, just keep going. It's coming, you know? And it just the art. You gotta trust the art, you know? So thank you for that, because we do appreciate that. It's something that needs to be said and needs to be seen, especially within our communities. I know the intercultural is action. Okay, so even though action is an intercultural platform, but for my specific audience, I love people who are gold and black, like gold, like aspirational and black, being African American, and I love that you guys are a perfect display of just cultural excellence, because it's something that needs to be like seen more. Representation matters, and I appreciate y'all for representing so well, especially to be so young and have been through so much. Like your age is not determining the stage that you are in life. You guys are continuing to power through, continuing to persevere, continuing to show us what it looks like on an honest level. And we needed that here. So glad people added to our podcast, because it was just me and Brandon.
And I did want to say something. So you asked me specifically about action, but we do have another business called Kingdom Internal Solutions.
Okay, so tell us more about that.
This is a nonprofit management services company. It's kind of difficult to tell everything that we've been. It would take me 7 years to tell you what we've been through over the last 7 years. But like I mentioned, working at the Skill Center. Skill Center is an organization that had a $500,000 budget when we was working there. Now they're upwards $2 million nonprofit organization. We work with multiple organizations in the nonprofit space, whether it's about getting funded, or just getting strategic planning going, or even just filing. And then of course we have our own nonprofit where we've served over 1,000 people over that time period. Just when we have the opportunity to do it, we have multiple programs that we offer in that space. But our nonprofit management services company helps people to get those nonprofits started.
I'm nonprofit also.
Yeah. So, and the way Brandon is working his nonprofit is, you know, Brandon's a real estate agent. He does credit repair. Well, he can go around now because he has a nonprofit. He can tell people in the community what it takes to get their house, what it takes to build their credit up, and while he's doing that, he can get paid for that. He can get donations for doing that, and then turn around and like let that be marketing for him selling real estate. Like, so he leveraged the nonprofit and the for-profit. And then Brandon, you know, y'all know Brandon rich. So
What can I say? I've done good work for myself.
So Brandon, you know, the government got this thing where they want to get in your bank account for anything over $600 now, and he's like, man, how do I, you know, work my money out? Well, you can give up to 60% of your income to your nonprofit as a donation, and then now that's in that nonprofit's account. You have that over here.
Right.
That nonprofit account is not going to be taxed whatsoever. Like, you and a few of your friends, all it takes you and two of your friends start a little nonprofit, put that money over there, not taxed. You can put it in there December 31st. As long as you do it before the new year, put that over there.
I remember we sitting down. He hit me. He told me about that. I'm like, this is legal, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause, you know, because we think, because when people hear nonprofit, they think ain't no money in nonprofit. It's called nonprofit, Daz. You know, we're not making any money, right? No, it's a lot of money to be made, like you just explained. And I know we as a people, we don't understand that aspect. Because he showed me Cleveland Clinic is a nonprofit organization. Cleveland Clinic owns half of Cleveland, guys. They don't own it through just, just solely through fixing your knee. You know,
the YMCA is a nonprofit. The Red Cross is a nonprofit. YOU, Boys and Girls Club. These are billion-dollar nonprofits that we're talking about. Like,
and the salaries they make are not low salaries. They make 6-figure salaries.
8-figure salaries for some
depending
of
on where
them.
you at.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know whether everybody wants to do that, but I know a lot of people, even aside from, you know, putting the money over there for the taxes, okay, now you don't have to pay this in your business. You could pay yourself over the next year or over whatever for work you're doing in your nonprofit. But a lot of people in our communities just want to make a difference for their community, but they're working a job that they hate because they don't feel like their idea can earn them income. Like, that's most of the people that we serve. Like, they're like, man, I got this idea. I want to do this for the kids in my community, but I'm trying to figure out how I can get paid off of it.
Right.
So I'm still working this job. Well, start a nonprofit. Because if it's a charitable thing, if it's something that actually like makes a tangible difference for whether it's the kids, whether it's single moms, whether it's the single fathers or whoever, and you do it through a nonprofit, then you can get funding for that. Like, people are looking to give money to other people's nonprofits so that they can go out there and make the difference that they can't make themselves. So, like,
give it to me, guys, by the way.
yeah, like Brandon, right now, like, if y'all want to give a donation, give it to Brandon's organization so he can go out there and teach our people how to get real estate for themselves and build wealth for themselves. He wants to close the wealth gap. Help him close the wealth gap. Like,
absolutely.
Boom, you give to his nonprofit, and it's not all going to just be paid to him. He's going to get a lot of things to help the community. Absolutely. Just the same way in your business, you have to make investments. We were just talking about earlier, you have to make investments into, you know, y'all just bought a ring light, and for the podcast, y'all bought a microphone, 3 of them. It's like, these are the types of things that you can help to support for a nonprofit organization. And so, yeah, like,
no, listen.
I wanted to make sure I threw that plug in.
No, I like that.
That you did.
Yeah, no, hands down. Because like, I not only am I part of the podcast, I'm also part of Action 101, guys. So let me ask y'all this. So for anyone who's watching the podcast or listening, what are 3 things you think they should take away from listening to y'all today?
We was kind of everywhere.
But it was a great conversation. I mean, I know y'all don't like being all over the place in action, but this was a great talk, and I love that you guys kind of kept it everywhere too, because we had a chance to touch on all these different aspects of life, love, entrepreneurship, family, and babies that don't always get spoken about on podcasts. Sometimes they talk too much about motivation. Sometimes they do too much information. And I love how you guys allowed us the opportunity to give a great mix of both, or even transformation, with just coming through it all and finding a way to pull it all together, because you can do more than one thing and do it effectively, you know?
So 3 takeaways, Teresa, or at least one, or at least 2 of them, and I'll give a third.
One is discover your personal mission. Discover your personal mission so that you can start working to fulfill it, like seeing how the opportunity that you're currently like using right now, how it's going to help you to build some skills, like how it's going to help you to build some relationships and learn some new things that will help you to serve the people that you have that compassion for. And so that's 1. 2 is what's 2, guys?
I want to say, like building off of that, you know, if you're a kingdom citizen, if you're a believer, Jesus Christ, right? We have these responsibilities. One, of course, you receive salvation when you receive Christ, but that's not the only thing in the gospel. Like sanctification. Sanctification is the process of like becoming more like Christ. It's that process. It's a tough process that you got to go through of getting yourself right, like removing all the filth from your life and being more like God, right? And then you also have the discipleship piece. So the discipleship piece is like bringing other people into the faith, like letting them know that they have the ability to get right with God, having the ability to lead, serve, give, feed, teach, be a part of the kingdom. Actually receive all the benefits of the kingdom, which is an abundant life as we know it. And one great way to do that is it's called the Great Commission. Great Commission is to tell other people. God commissioned us to tell other people about the kingdom message, right? So we like to say fulfill the Great Commission through your personal kingdom mission. So once you identify that personal mission for yourself and it's something that aligns with God's will, now you're like, all right, now I can tell people about God as I serve them, as I run my business, or as I run my nonprofit, or as I even at my job, especially if it's something that aligns with my purpose. So you can't be walking around. I walk in contradiction every day. Oh yeah, you know, like so. Yeah, do that. I think that's number 2. Fulfill the Great Commission while you are operating in that personal kingdom mission. Number 3, I don't know if we spoke on it enough, but I just feel that a lot of people are where I was, at least, in the sense of like it's easy to find your worth in what you have or don't have. It's easy to find your worth in, you know, your circumstances, the relationships you're a part of, and the fact of the matter is those things don't define you. So don't allow them to. When you're an entrepreneur, you're walking a thin line. It's very easy to get to this place where you feel down on yourself because you ain't make your sales goals this week. Because you ain't got the money you want to do what you want, have what you want, go where you want, and all of these different things, but you're not called to live like that. So don't allow yourself to get so far into the entrepreneur space that you forget that, like, you're not here for you. Like, and there's peace in that. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm not here for me, so I can't have what I want, boom, boom. No. The word tells us, if you take delight in the Lord, He'll give you all the desires of your heart. So it's like, I just gotta trust that. Like, it might not go how I want to right now, but I'm gonna do God's will, and I'm just gonna trust Him to show me that He can work for me, because a lot of your blessings might not even come through your business. Honestly, a lot of your blessings might come because God decided to put somebody in your life that say, you know what, I just want to. You know what I mean? I just want to look out for you, like, and you never know, it might be right on time. You know, so don't allow your worth to be so caught up in what you have, how much you're making, and all of these different things. Instead, just focus on pleasing Him, doing the work that He called you to do, and just trust that that's going to work out. Of course, there's going to be things you have to go through. Of course, there's going to be things that you have to grow through, I should say. A new person that you have to become. But just go through it, because even in your business, a lot of the issues you have is heart issues.
Yeah.
It's the fears, it's the frustrations, it's all of these things that God wants to build you up in anyway. So just build them up in Him instead of going the opposite direction.
That's good.
You can't stop
Can't
it.
top that.
Can't top that. That's real. I know no games is off camera taking care of a baby girl. But how can people reach out? If they want to sign up for action, or they want to reach out and want to get the nonprofit.
Yeah, ladies. Teresa's Instagram is Build with Teresa. I think her Twitter is Build W Teresa, but she mainly uses Instagram. Teresa Patterson on Facebook. Mine is Kingdom King Daz. I think all of them are Kingdom King Daz. My Facebook is Daz and Patterson. Just reach out, shoot me a DM. Let me know you're interested. In my bio, you'll see Actions Instagram. You'll see our nonprofit services Instagram. Just follow the steps there. We'll be glad to work with anybody doing whatever you need. Even if you just want to hit us up and be like, you know what, I want to pick your brain. I want to understand what's going on. Because we are working from home, we're not at a point right now in our business. Just honestly, we're making $100,000. Like, we're not making 6 figures yet. We're not. But we take good care of ourselves. Like, we're in a great position though, and so I think sometimes there's benefits to that. I think that you don't necessarily want to always get the person that's making $1 million 6 figures, because you're trying to figure out how to get started.
So I love the motto you have for peer consultant though. Like, I remember when you told me what a peer consultant was, and basically I hear it right now when you say it, you know what I'm saying? But I'll let you get into that. But
the person that making 6 figures or $1 million, they got started years ago, and so now that's distant from them.
Right.
Where you at now, they're like, no, all you got to do is this. But over time, like, I feel you. I understand where you at.
Right.
I'm making $50,000. Like, that's it. I'm halfway there. Right. Like, I ain't there yet. So it's just like, but I can help you to start making that.
Right.
4 figures.
Right.
That's what you're trying to do.
Right. You're still stepping from where you are, and I'm no, listen. Sometimes you need that. You don't need to be at step Z. You know what I'm saying? You need to be right here on C, because you are at A.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
People forget that part.
So it's mainly those people. We don't serve. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna help you get 6 figures in 6 months.
Right.
Not what I'm gonna do.
You're not gonna be in front of the Maserati. You talking about something?
I ain't got no Maserati.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do all that shade.
We got a Chevy Cruze. And it's a 2013, but it's paid for.
There you go.
We got no debt.
There you go.
So, but yeah, man. They can just reach out. Like I said, I just wanted to clarify who we work with too. Like, you ready to get started? You ready to fulfill your kingdom mission? Figure out that start that workbook. You ready to make that workbook so you can get going? You ready to make that ebook? You ready to make that podcast? You ready to get started with something?
Yeah.
We can help you to do that and not end up in a situation where you're frustrated with what you're doing. You take off right now. So Kingdom King Dash, Build with Teresa. I could have answered it just that.
No. Listen, no, that's what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? It's for the laugh of people to say. So I don't know. I know this is what people ask me for. Who won between the dance battle between me and you? Just so people know it was me, right? While we on record, you know what I'm saying?
Did y'all see how I hit it with
No.
We're going to insert this clip right after this, y'all, so y'all can really see what he's talking about.
No. We don't need, I want people to know,
Man, y'all ain't see how I hit it. He had the business card, but
I killed with the business card, you know what I'm saying?
You did.
Well, we thank y'all. I love the Pattersons, y'all. I love them.
We love you too, man. We appreciate y'all for pulling up on us.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for allowing us to pull up on y'all. We appreciate it.
I wanted to say that so bad. Y'all pull up on us.
Thank you. I say it's corny when y'all are.
No, he said it's so much cooler than us.
Yeah. We be saying that. Nervous. We gotta work on that.
No, that's cool, man. And anybody that got anything else to say, tell them to holler at me.
That's right, man. You know, hey. We thank y'all, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Peace out.